While political debates have historically been a battleground for ideas and policies, they've also become stages for personalities. This was never more evident than during the recent debate between Governor Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, where instead of letting the political discourse dominate the headlines, Donald Trump, the ever-present former president, made sure to steal the spotlight in his unique way. While the candidates sparred on stage, Trump unleashed a string of bizarre tweets, one in particular calling for Pete Rose to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame after his passing. This video delves into the chaos that unfolded, dissecting Trump's online antics, his surrogate's questionable social media behavior, and the reaction of the Harris-Walz campaign. As the political landscape inches closer to the 2024 election, Trump's desperate bid for relevance during the debate highlights a man trying to maintain his grip on the national conversation and ultimately on power. The debate between Walz and Vance, a test of political agendas. The recent debate between Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance was set to be a standard affair. Two heavyweights of American politics discussing the future of the nation. Walz, a seasoned politician with a proven track record in governance, stood opposite Vance, the populist conservative senator backed by Trump's MAGA movement. As expected, the debate touched on several hot-button issues: the economy, healthcare, and the legitimacy of the 2020 election. J.D. Vance, known for his staunch support of Trump, refused to outright admit that Trump lost the 2020 election. When asked directly by Governor Walz whether Trump had lost, Vance deflected, focusing instead on moving forward. "I'm focused on the future," Vance repeatedly said, avoiding the simple truth that Walz kept pressing for. This non-answer was glaring, and it became a defining moment of the debate. Walz, sensing the importance of this exchange, pushed hard, framing the inability to admit the truth about 2020 as a fundamental failure of leadership. It was a critical moment in the debate, one that resonated with undecided voters. According to post-debate polls from CNN, Walz's favorability shot up by a staggering 37%, while Vance remained in negative territory at -3%. Many saw Vance's evasiveness as indicative of a larger problem within the Republican Party, an unwillingness to break free from Trump's grip, even at the expense of honesty and integrity. Trump's Twitter tantrum, the Pete Rose Hall of Fame tweet. While the candidates were engaging in meaningful debate, Donald Trump was busy stirring up controversy from his online pulpit. In what can only be described as an attempt to redirect attention toward himself, Trump tweeted about Pete Rose, the former Major League Baseball star who had passed away the day before. Trump called for Rose's immediate induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame, seemingly out of nowhere. What made the timing of this tweet even more bizarre was that it had nothing to do with the ongoing political discourse or the debate between Walz and Vance. Instead, it felt like a deliberate attempt by Trump to grab headlines, as he so often does, by injecting himself into the national conversation, even if that conversation had nothing to do with him. This wasn't an isolated incident. Trump has a long history of using social media, particularly Twitter, as a tool to distract from events that don't involve him. During the 2020 presidential debates, for example, Trump often live-tweeted or issued statements designed to disrupt the focus on his opponents. In this case, Trump's seemingly random tweet about Pete Rose appeared to be another example of his need for attention, no matter how out of place it seemed. But Trump wasn't the only one trying to hog the spotlight. His top legal surrogate, Alina Habba, also took to social media during the debate, posting a manipulated image of pop icon Taylor Swift. The doctored photo showed Swift with a caption questioning where Americans get their political opinions from, clearly aimed at mocking her vocal opposition to Trump and her alignment with Democratic politics. Habba's post was seen by many as tone-deaf and petty, not only because it targeted a beloved celebrity, but also because it served no real purpose other than to incite outrage among Swift's fanbase. In recent years, Swift has become an outspoken advocate for progressive causes, and her political endorsements have had tangible effects on voter turnout, particularly among younger voters. Habba's choice to focus on Swift, instead of engaging with the substance of the debate, raised questions about Trump's camp and their inability to stay focused on the issues that matter. Was this a desperate attempt to shift the conversation away from Trump's failures, or was it simply another example of the MAGA movement's fixation on cultural figures who oppose them? The Harris-Walz campaign strikes back. Meanwhile, the Harris-Walz campaign wasted no time in capitalizing on Vance's failure to answer the question about the 2020 election. Within hours of the debate ending, they were cutting a major ad featuring the pivotal exchange between Walz and Vance. The ad highlighted Vance's refusal to acknowledge Trump's loss, framing it as a defining moment in the 2024 election. The ad went viral almost immediately, striking a chord with voters who are tired of the big lie and its continued grip on the Republican Party. In the ad, Walz is seen calmly, yet firmly pressing Vance for an answer, while Vance squirms and dodges, unable or unwilling to state the obvious truth. The ad ends with a powerful message. Leadership means standing up for democracy, even when it's hard. Tim Walz will always tell you the truth. Can you say the same about J.D. Vance? It was a masterstroke from the Harris-Walz campaign, seizing the narrative from Trump and his allies, and refocusing the public's attention on what really matters: the future of American democracy. Trump's shady hurricane charity claims. As if his Twitter tirade and surrogates' antics weren't enough, Trump also held a rally in Wisconsin earlier in the day, where he made a series of bizarre claims about a hurricane named Helen. Struggling to pronounce the name of the hurricane, Trump then went on a strange rant about age, wage, and the future of the workforce, leaving many wondering if he even knew what he was talking about. But the most concerning part of Trump's Wisconsin event was his claim that he was raising money for hurricane relief efforts. According to reports, Trump claimed he was delivering truckloads of supplies to areas affected by the storm. However, investigations by the press revealed that Trump wasn't providing these supplies himself. Instead, he was taking credit for the work of other charitable organizations. Even more damning was the discovery of a GoFundMe page Trump had set up, ostensibly to raise money for hurricane victims. But the GoFundMe wasn't linked to any legitimate charity, leading many to question where the money was actually going. It was another example of Trump's long history of shady business dealings and false promises, further eroding his credibility with the American public. The reaction of undecided voters. Walz emerges victorious. Post-debate analysis and focus groups revealed that Governor Walz's performance had a significant impact on undecided voters. CNN's panel of undecided voters, who had been closely watching the debate, overwhelmingly favored Walz after his strong showing. One voter, Ryan, expressed his disappointment in Vance's failure to acknowledge the reality of the 2020 election. "I'm going to be voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they respect democracy," he said, adding that Vance's evasiveness on such a crucial issue made him untrustworthy in his eyes. This sentiment was echoed by many others, with a majority of focus group participants agreeing that Walz had won the debate decisively. The focus on truth, integrity, and democracy resonated with voters who are increasingly frustrated with the chaos and dishonesty that have defined Trump's political career. In the end, the debate between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance was supposed to be a battle of ideas, but it became yet another stage for Donald Trump's attention-seeking antics. From his random tweet about Pete Rose to his surrogate's misguided attack on Taylor Swift, Trump once again proved that he is unable to relinquish the spotlight, even when it isn't his to claim. However, the real story of the debate was Governor Walz's calm and steady leadership, which contrasted sharply with the chaos surrounding Trump and his camp. As the 2024 election approaches, voters are faced with a clear choice: continue down the path of division and dishonesty, or embrace leaders who stand up for truth and democracy. Based on the reaction to this debate, it seems more and more Americans are choosing the latter.